Okay, welcome back. We're looking at another challenge that many and most managers in any kind of organizations are facing, which is stakeholder trust or the lack thereof. And we're here with Lorraine and Nadia, and we're going to discuss that that question in more depth. And one of the things to start us off is just like, would you be able to share a moment in your life where trust was reduced in your interaction with anyone? Just a generic example.
Sure. So it's kind of a funny story, but after college, I was working at this really high-profile restaurant as a hostess, and it was a very busy Saturday night, and we had a lot of common patrons. And one time, this couple came in, and the maitre d' turned to me and said, "I don't have a table for them, so tell them that we can't give them a table." And then he ran off. So I told them that we can't give them a table, and he said, they were like, no, we always get a table. We want to speak to the maitre d', but he was gone for about 20 minutes. And then when he finally returned, they said, "This young hostess here doesn't know who we are." And she said, "You're not going to give us a table." And then he said, "What? She said that?" And then from then on, I knew that I was kind of like in a toxic environment, and I lost trust because I realized that they would gladly throw me under the bus. It was kind of funny looking back on it, but in the moment, I was really embarrassed. And from then on, I lost trust in that employer.
In that person or in the whole organization?
In the organization, because I started to realize that that's kind of the workplace culture there.
Oh, wow.
But yes, especially there with that individual.
Wow. Any?
That's
It
I'm
does,
sorry that
it
they
does.
could
Yeah,
under the bus
yeah.
like that. My experience is more, I guess, more personal rather than business, and I feel like everyone could probably relate to this. I feel everyone has been through this. So in high school, but it was like senior week, and you're doing wild things in senior week, and I was with my best friend doing wild things, and then I get back home, and a girl that we went to senior week with, she calls me and says that my best friend said something about me. She said something. She called me a name, and I lost my trust, and I'm having a hard time like separating my I guess trust and loyalty in this scenario, because she didn't tell me herself. Somebody else told me. I had no issue with what she said at all. Your opinion is valid, but the fact that I heard it from somebody else and not the person who said it was what was how I lost trust.
And what happened as a consequence? Were you still friends with?
No. It was no.
That was the end of the relationship.
It was the end. I asked her why didn't she tell me. And then she gave her response, and I said, "Well, I appreciate you telling me that, but I can't associate with that type of character. I feel as though if you have an issue, then you should address me." Even if it's terrible, even if it's like, I don't know, a BP oil spill, like tell us. Don't have somebody else tell us, because then how am I supposed to trust you?
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did you work for that restaurant?
I had actually worked for them for close to a year, and I was sort of having issues in that workplace, but that was sort of the final straw. So after that happened, I would say less than a month.
Oh, wow. Okay. So students, you can see this short little question that I'm asking you to answer for yourself. It does reveal something very meaningful about human relations, okay? And when they're working and when they're not working. And trust is oftentimes seen as the glue. And when it's not there, something doesn't work. And you gave examples. This is not scripted, right? They seem to come easy. We have a very easy time to remember times when trust was broken, right? That resonates. It is also a kind of interesting phenomenon because it doesn't happen so often, right? Most relationships are actually, trust is the default. But whenever something happens, whether it was like people not being transparent and honest and having integrity, or not being benevolent towards yourself, towards you, caring, then you lose trust, you lose the relationship. You are not going to work for people. It's very difficult to recover that kind of trust lost.
Most definitely.
Right? And so that's a big challenge for any manager in any kind of organization, especially the typical, prototypical corporate organizations that are actually assumed to be abusing people most of the time, right? Not caring, profit maximizing, being opportunistic. So people already assume you cannot trust a leader, not trust a business. People hate business, right? They talk about it that way. Business sucks. There's a whole narrative about business sucks. And ultimately, this is a pretty sad state of affairs. If one of the most important institutions in our lives, you have to say you can't trust them. It's like the most important person in your life. You have to say, I can't trust them. I can't trust my mother. I can't trust my best friend. I can't trust whoever it is. So we, as humans, are fundamentally social. We thrive on trusting people. And when we can't, then there's something wrong, right? Then dysfunction occurs. And we can see dysfunction right now in the world of business, in the world of organizations, etc. So the next kind of question I'm going to ask you is, when do you remember any kind of event where trust was built, trust was restored, or any of these things? What happened?
Well, I'm going to reference a business example in my case again, but I have a background in marketing, and when I was shopping for a new mattress, there was this new trend for mattresses in a box. They have Casper mattress and Tuft & Needle, so I purchased a mattress in a box from Tuft & Needle. And what made me purchase it was that they offer 100-day returns if you're not satisfied. And I kind of was hesitant. This is at a time when not a lot of companies were doing that. And so I purchased it, and I was happy with it, so I didn't return it. And I kind of didn't necessarily believe it. I mean, I didn't have any issues with my mattress, but my mom ordered the same mattress, and she actually returned it after about 20 days, and they fully endorsed that. She was able to get a hold of a representative right away. They arranged for the mattress to be picked up so she wouldn't have to worry about shipping it out. And then that was a way that my trust was built with them. And from then on, I always view them as a very authentic company.
Okay. So what was the reason then that the promise was kept?
The promise was kept. It wasn't just a slogan, and it really was. It actually motivated me to purchase from them in the first place. But then the fact that they actually even followed through with it was a bonus.
Great. Do you have any example in terms of when trust was built?
Well, once again, my example will be personal. And once again, I'm having a hard time drawing the line between trust and building trust and loyalty, or restoring trust and restoring loyalty. I think it's an easy example would be, I don't know, I'm just subconsciously just laying in my bed, but I'm hungry and I don't feel like getting up, and then my mom just comes in with a sandwich. She's like, "Here you go, just serves your life." And I think that builds trust and loyalty because she's, I guess empathetic would be my word, or aware of how I'm doing, what I was doing before and after. So she just cares enough to do something for me that I didn't want to do for myself, I guess, for lack of better words. Okay. So that builds trust for me.
So that built trust for you. That sort of, but you trusted your mom, I think, before probably,
yes.
right? Okay, good. And I think what we're sort of hearing is some revelatory insights to some degree. Very simple. Yes, keep a promise, right? That's what we teach our kids. And it's sort of sad to think that most organizations, if they promise something, will not honor their promise, right? Or care and benevolence you're sharing. Okay, there's your mother caring about your well-being. Well, that's your mother, right? That's very special. And what if an organization would be caring? What if an organization were benevolent? What if leaders in organizations were to showcase that? Would that make a difference in terms of stakeholder trust? These are the kind of conversations, the kind of questions that we're exploring here a bit more. And I ask you, students, to reflect on your own examples, because this is critical for understanding the function and the importance and the relevance of trust in being a good leader in these times.